Hello and welcome to the Be Fairy Afraid podcast, the podcast where we shun off the fluffy and nice fairy tales that you've grown up with and dig into the deep, sordid ones of the past. I'm Louise Atkinson.
And I'm Fiona Ridgewell. And this week we're talking about the story of Cú Chulainn, juicing and axe throwing. Oh, and a little bit on student loans as well. But in the words of our good friend Jean-Baptiste Basile,
shut your mouths, open your ears, and hear what I shall tell you.
Friends on a quest, putting these fairy tales to the test, talking all things magical, mystical, but sometimes not very sophistical. Be very afraid, someone actually wrote this story down. Be very afraid, why are all the women wearing massive gowns? Why is he kissing her without her consent? What on earth is going on? Will they figure it out what this story's all about? Oh, be very afraid.
Hello.
hello.
How are you?
Good, actually.
Yeah, you're wearing your jumper that says Happy Bunny.
Happy bunny, you know, reflects what's going on the inside, on the outside.
Is it Miffy?
I think I might be too old for Miffy. I think this is from some sort of knockoff website. So
Miffy.
it's Muffy. Muffy the bunny.
I loved her version of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Buffy the Rabbit Slayer.
Yeah, I'm good. How are you? What have you been up to?
I had two things happen last week. I had a good thing and a bad thing. Which one do you want first?
Good news, please.
I have paid off my student loan.
Oh my God.
It can happen to you.
And you're younger than me, aren't you?
Yeah.
Right. Mine seems to be ever increasing.
I was absolutely buzzing.
Have you been doing, do you mind me asking?
Repayments, yes.
Yeah.
I have.
Have you been slinging a bit of extra money at it?
I did a little bit.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I didn't do that.
Yeah, because I just wanted, there's loads of people who are into finances shit and counting who are like, no, you keep it for as long as possible because of all interest rate. I'm like, I just want it gone. I just want it gone out of my life.
What's the logic amongst keeping it forever?
One of my friends, because eventually it's meant to get written off, yeah.
I think mine will.
Yeah.
Unless something drastic happens in my life, that's getting written off by the government.
And
Thank you for the dance degree.
Dance degree!
Real waste of money that was.
What is your is your exam a big dance?
Well, you get a dissertation where you write about the dance. So
a type of dance, or your dance specifically?
So, in my one, I wrote about the Sleeping Beauty ballet and the mime in it, just about what they were saying, really. I don't really remember what it was. I know that I submitted it, and then, they were like, yeah, this is all wrong, and I had to rewrite it in, 5 days. But the actual dancing was fun.
So you can do ballroom dancing and shit?
Oh, no, we didn't do that. We did contemporary, pretend you're a tree.
You what, mate? Hang on, this is an entire dance degree lasting
3 years.
3 years, and you hadn't done what I would regard as quite a large part of the dancing society of ballroom dance.
No ballroom. No, pretty much a solo dance degree. Yeah, I could dance with someone next to me, but not with me.
Oh my Christ! You didn't do anyone with dancing with people?
No. I'd love to do Strictly.
There'd be another string to your bow of learning how to dance with somebody.
And I think, then no one could be like, well, she was a professional, because I wasn't, because I couldn't ever dance with someone.
Oh, that's so heartbreaking.
Oh, yeah.
And you haven't paid that off yet?
No, that's going up every 6 months, it would seem. They send me a little letter saying, a little bit more on there.
I'm so excited. It means next time I get any sort of money, it now doesn't go to the student loan.
What was your degree in?
Law.
Oh.
I know you wouldn't think it, would you?
Wow. Why did you not be a lawyer?
Well, number one, I couldn't fit a wig on this hair I've got already. That's just it.
Could have dyed it.
Do you know when you go in to be a barrister and you have to get a wig, you want an older one so it doesn't look new, so you don't look like a knobhead. So some of them get tea and stuff and
oh my God, was
older.
that a module on the degree?
Yeah, it was. That's what we did. Everyone thinks, law students, you're doing real studious things. We're like, no, how to dye wigs.
How to look experienced.
How to look experienced. I look like you're talking bollocks, which is why I became a comedian. I was like,
right.
The confidence of knowing how to talk bollocks without anybody questioning me.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh, so it was all leading up to this moment, though.
Yeah, exactly. exactly.
Oh, nice. So that's the good news.
Where, yeah. I was just
Congrats.
like, do you believe in life after student loans? I was really excited about it.
What's the bad news, or do we not want it?
The bad news is so last week I went up to North to do some gigs and that, and I stayed with my mate, and she has recently got into a juicing. She went into detox because she was going on holiday.
Oh dear.
Yeah, which is basically a load of bollocks. Don't do juicing if you're trying to lose weight. It's a load of bollocks. If you want to lose weight quickly, just have a laxative. That's what juicing is essentially.
Yeah.
And she'd done all this juicing, and I said, oh, can I try a bit? And this is essential. She said, oh yeah, I haven't tried it yet. Let me know how it is. Well, everything came out of me.
Oh my God.
It was unbelievably great. I was like an accordion deflating. It was horrible. And I shouted at her. I was
How
like,
much did you? What you showered after? Did you just say?
I shouted at her.
Oh,
But to be honest, I probably should have done it. Just showered it all off.
how bad was it?
Honestly. And I said, what the bloody hell have you put in this juice? And she was like, oh, it's just fruit and veg. It's just fruit and veg. I was like, well, where did you get it from? Again, another crucial bit of the puzzle. She said, oh, I don't remember. It's been so long. To be honest, I juiced it because it was on the 10. I was like, what are you talking about?
So you did essentially have a laxative.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, a bit of mould's good for you. I'm like, oh, yeah. When I was in there with my organs falling out, I thought, oh, this tastes like penicillin. Like, what are you on about, knobhead? I was fuming. Because the thing is, I had to go to the gig. And I had to take, no joke, a spare pair of trousers. Because I was like, what if I shit myself? And then I was like, being the comedian, I was like, is there a way I could style this out on stage if it happened to make it look like it's a joke and meant to happen?
I can answer that for you. There absolutely is no way you could have done that. No, absolutely not.
I can confirm it will make you lose weight because I lost 3 organs. So that was about £7.
Oh
so
my God.
So that's what happened to me last. It was a real roller coaster of a week for me.
Yeah, that sounds bloody horrific.
Yeah. How was yours?
I met my boyfriend's friends.
Boyfriend's friend. Oh.
Met them friends. That was quite nice. Although he wasn't well.
Did he have some juice?
He might as well have, yeah. He didn't have spare trousers with him, luckily. Yeah, he wasn't well. So they were like, his friends are very nice. But you know, like when you meet new people, I can't handle silence.
You are like that with any people, not just people.
Yeah,
you don't
that's true.
know.
But like when I don't know them, and I think he felt that. So like his best friend was like, oh yeah, we went to see some seals or something. And he went, oh, Fiona loves seals. Fiona's obsessed with seals. Tell him how much you like seals, Fiona. Now that I think of it, I don't know how much I like seals or why I like seals. It feels really weird to explain this to a group of adults. I'm not sure. But they were very nice. So that was nice. Integrated into the friends and family now.
Has he met all your friends? Well, he hasn't met me.
He hasn't met any of them, actually.
Yeah.
He's always ill, actually. Whenever he's meant to meet my friends. Because I said that to him. I was like, well, you were sick when we was meant to meet your friends. We still went. When we're meant to meet my friends and you're sick, we don't go.
Your mates are horrible, are they?
Oh, I don't think they are.
I'm an absolute knobhead meeting my really close friends. I'm like, take a seat. I've got a questionnaire.
Well, to be honest, after speaking to you and speaking to him, I think you are the male and female version of each other.
It does sound like
I
it,
actually really do think you are.
Which means we're either going to really like each other or hate each other.
Apart from that, walking. Just loads of walking. I walk everywhere now. He was like, oh, fancy a quick walk. How long's that? 5 hours. 5-hour walk.
Is this because you don't want to drive anymore because of your car?
No, it is actually. It's because he just likes walking. But turns out I mentally unravel on a walk.
Who mentally unravels on a walk? They're meant to be like mentally stable. You're doing the opposite of what a walk's meant to do.
Genuinely, that's what he said to me. He was like, these people do this for mental health. And I was like, well, for my mental health, this is absolutely terrible.
For my mental health, I need to sit down in a dark room and not be disturbed.
Fresh air, hills, beautiful scenery sends me over the edge. Get really quite aggressive.
Aggressive? I thought you were just thinking about loads of stuff, but you're getting...
Get angry, yeah. I'm like, how fucking long now? We need fucking air. He's like, oh, we've got an hour left. That's when you do go on the turn. On the turn, like the juice. He's got, oh, she's lost her head. Yeah, have.
But you love exercise and that.
No, but walking just doesn't feel like exercise, does it? And there's nothing at the end of it.
So this is where you're going wrong. You walk to a pub or to a place that serves food. You don't just go walking. That's madness.
That might be what annoyed me, because we walked to a pub and I wanted calamari, but they wouldn't give me the calamari because they said it'd be an hour and a half wait. And then I was really angry. Then I made him go Sainsbury's and we bought calamari. But yeah, so that was that weekend. It was all right.
Right, okay.
Nice, yeah.
Nerds don't take Fiona on a walk.
No. Apparently, I don't wear the correct apparel.
Spritz.
Exactly. I think he means apparel, but he doesn't listen to stuff he reads, so he pronounces a lot of words wrong, and I just let him.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, so he's like, "You've got the wrong apparel on." I was like, "Oh, yeah, sure I do, love." Okay.
All right, thanks, my sweater.
Yeah.
So when is he going to meet your friends?
I don't know, because the thing is, I don't have a group of friends. I've got individual friends, so
Yeah.
they'll have to.
And none of us would get on.
He'll have to meet them all. Yeah.
That's the worst part for me. It's not when you bring someone you're dating to meet your friends. It's when your other friends meet.
Your other friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you realise how mental you are. Because each one of them reflects a different part of your
Personality. And I literally have, I think, like 6 best friends.
And they're so different. And yet usually,
Yeah.
and then it's just really reflecting to me that that's why in my head I never get on with myself, because so many parts of my personality are so mental.
So it turns out walks make me unravel, but podcasts make you
Yeah,
unravel.
apparently. Did this podcast walking? I think that'd be like a nice balance for the two of us. Right, do you want to know what we're doing this week?
Yes, please.
We're doing a Celtic fairy tale this week. Well, Celtic myth.
I'm half Scottish.
We're doing the Irish one.
Okay.
Mega
let's hear
sauce.
it.
Do have some Scottish ones in it. I've got this big ass book.
Is this a third book?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
This is I love book buying. Like I can't go past Waterstones without
Bloody
buying a book.
library, ain't ya?
Honestly, I love it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I got my new book, Celtic fairy tales. I love me some Celtic fairy tales, myths and legends.
Okay.
The thing is as well, because what I was trying to say is this book is called the Epic Tales. They do like a series, and I've got quite a few of them. But they have been put together because with the Celtic fairy tales, the Celts usually told their stories orally. They didn't write shit down. But yeah, so that's how they were passing things down. And there's been suggestions that druids, which are like, they're everything really. They were like lawmakers and religious, like heads of everything.
Okay.
And all this, they couldn't write stuff down because it was like they were giving away their secrets, and it was potentially causing a lot of risk. So that's suggested why one of the reasons they wouldn't write them down. So people started writing them. Monks started writing all of this down in like the 6th century.
Right.
So we have to be careful because monks were super Christian and they hated paganism. So a lot of these tales will have like you're like, this is a lot to take, but I've learned so much and I have to tell you.
I know, but we're getting into the real like nooks and crooks of it, aren't we?
So this book, anyway, all of the stories have been compiled by a guy called Jake Jackson, which is a great name. And he's used the stories from a guy called Joseph Jacobs, who's actually very well known in folklore and fairy tale world.
Okay.
Because he was Australian and he got really into bringing some of these stories back to life and compiling them. And his version of Jack and the Beanstalk and Three Little Pigs and stuff like that is probably the ones we know
Oh, right.
today.
That's Joseph.
That's Joseph. And then we've also got as a reference W.B. Yeats, who is like a really phenomenal writer of the 20th century, Irish guy. He's also huge in bringing back Gaelic and Irish traditions. And he actually helped build a theatre where they would put on like Gaelic plays and stuff.
Okay.
So we've got the writing from him, because the thing is with all these tales, there's loads of different versions because they just get told orally all the time. So if anybody does know a different version of this, do write in and let us know, because I find it fascinating. But so in Irish Celtic myths and fairy tale land, there was essentially what the scholars have deemed 4 types of cycles, and we're going to start with the Ulster Cycle,
Okay.
which is a set of stories mostly revolving around a guy called Cú Chulainn.
Right.
And let's caveat this right now. Yes, I am an English knobhead who's going to be trying to pronounce Irish words, and I can only apologise. Although in my defence, what I also did last week is I went out for a drink with my Irish mate because he was proper buzzing at the idea of educating me on how to say
Really?
Irish names. And we did have a good bash at it.
Okay.
The bad news is what we also had a good bash at is several pints. So I have forgotten most of what we learned. Point is I tried.
Yeah.
I
You did
tried.
homework. I did nothing.
You do nothing. The Ulster Cycle is known as the Red Branch Cycle, the Red Branch being like a series of fighters and warriors and other like real vicious sort of battles and everything commencing at this time. And Cú Chulainn is basically, he's been described loads of times as the Irish Hercules.
Okay.
He's like really, really famous. To be honest, his story should be floating around a lot more.
What is this story called? Not Cú Chulainn?
This is the birth of Cú Chulainn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay,
So
fine.
there's the birth of Cú Chulainn, and then there's a few others, but we're just doing his birth today, of which there's a ton of versions.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah, let's see how he was born.
Off we go. The birth of Cú Chulainn. King Concobar MacNessa was ruler of Ulster at the time when Cú Chulainn, the mightiest hero of the Red Guard, came to be born. It happened that one day the king's sister, Dectire, whom he cherished above all others, disappeared from the palace without warning, taking 50 of her maidens and her most valuable possessions with her.
Oh, she's done a runner.
Yeah, with 50 women. Well, 50 girls. Well, 50 maidens.
Yeah. Women.
Women, teenage women.
Oh, okay. Don't ruin it for me already.
How would you run away with 50?
Gee, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? That is not.
And also by
Sign.
foot, I imagine. On foot, not
Well,
by
even
foot.
if you had horse or something, that's more people into them. That's more legs.
Then you need 50 horses.
Yeah.
Or 51.
51 horses.
Because
for
she's
50
got to go
people.
as well, isn't she?
Oh, yeah.
Um,
I thought you were like, and then they've got to have one for their bags.
Told you I was good at maths.
Although Concobar summoned every known person in the court before him for questioning, no explanation could be discovered for his sister's departure. For 3 long years, the king's messengers scoured the country in search of Dectera, but not one among them ever brought him news of her whereabouts. Very close to his sister.
Oh, it's not that sort of story, is
I
it?
don't think so. I think they're just very good siblings.
Okay.
So
Have you read this before?
I have, and it's not this bit ain't creepy. If you do know a creepy version where there's incest involved, do write in. Do let us know.
Okay, but they're not gearing towards that.
No, I don't think it's like a Game of Thrones kind of situation.
Okay,
No,
lovely.
I think he's just really missing his sister.
Yeah, I think if someone took my sister, I'd be upset.
Do you think?
Yeah.
You close?
We're close enough that I'd
Close enough.
be sad if someone took her.
At last, one summer's morning, a strange flock of birds descended on the palace gardens of Iman Macha and began to gorge themselves on every fruit tree and vegetable patch in sight. Interesting fact about this, Iman Macha, which I'm sure I'm butchering and apologies, is still a real place in Ireland. It's so they did an expedition, they did an excavation of it in like the 70s.
Dug it up.
Yeah, and basically it looked like it was a big wooden structure that was burnt, and then once it was burnt, it was full of stones, and there was like all these trenches dug around it, and people are trying to work out
Why?
why.
But do we know why?
No,
Oh.
it's like a Stonehenge kind of thing.
Aliens.
No. I'm not having any of that shit on this podcast. No.
I'm not really big on aliens. I think if someone told me a strong story, I'd probably believe it. But in my own mind, it doesn't really believe in aliens.
If somebody realised you were gullible enough and could sell you a story.
Oh, I definitely am gullible enough. That's why I was doing Herbalife. Yeah.
You doing what?
Herbalife.
What's Herbalife?
You know, like those, well, I say cult, market management scheme or whatever. Like pyramid schemes.
Pyramid
Oh, I've
scheme.
been in loads of pyramid schemes in my life.
No, you
Yeah.
haven't.
There's a pyramid scheme going, I'm at the top of it. No, I'm not. I'm at the bottom of it.
You're at the bottom
I'm at
of
the
it.
bottom of it. I'm never at the top. I'm never starting the pyramid scheme, but I am the person that keeps the pyramid scheme going.
I've always thought if I moved to like the American deep south and like put on a suit and an accent, I've reckoned I could start my own cult. Because you've just got to have an arrogant level of confidence, which I'm pretty sure I could convince people I've got, and that they should give me loads of money.
I don't have that.
You can be the one. Do you know, like, they always need somebody to look like they've converted. So I'll have you in the audience and pretend we don't know each other, and I'll be like, I can heal you. And you'll come up and you'll be like, I'm healed.
Oh,
And then
yeah, I could do that bit.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd believe that bit.
We'll go from town
yeah.
to town doing that.
Yeah, I've been hypnotised before, and I believed I was hypnotised.
What were you hypnotised to do?
Well, I was hypnotised once in Cyprus, and I was like marching about, and I was really hypnotised, really hypnotised.
What do you mean marching about?
Like, he got me to pretend I was a soldier and stuff. I was like strutting about in front of everyone.
Is this just part of your dance degree? Like, you were just like, actually, this is my time to shine.
I don't know. I really got into it. But then I once went to Harley Street and paid loads of money to a hypnotist.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. Because I had stage fright with singing. And And yeah, that didn't work. I still can't sing. So that was really unfortunate, actually. That was a lot of money.
Hang on, but you went for stage fright with singing. So were you really confident on stage even though you couldn't carry a tune in a bucket? Was that bit fixed?
No, like when I used to have to sing, I'd feel, once I vomited into my mouth, like when I had to sing, yeah, I feel it really I can't handle it because of the nerves. So I could never work out, because then if I was practicing singing with a singing teacher, it'd be all right. And then as soon as I get in front of people, it would be terrible. So it was stage fright, but the hypnotist couldn't do nothing about it. It's too deep rooted.
So do you still have stage fright singing now?
Oh yeah, I can't. Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah.
I think we've found your next Edinburgh show.
Oh, can't.
Emain Macha. It was named after a Celtic goddess, it's thought, called Macha, which we should do her story at some point. She is banging. And I don't just think that because she's a gobby woman with red hair and she's curvy, but she's basically, there's this, one of her stories is how she decided she was going to marry this bloke and told him, and he went, okay.
Oh, I'd love that.
She was there and she was pregnant, and the king and some of the warriors of the king were trying to make her do something she didn't want to do. So she punished them by giving the warriors a curse that any time they were going into battle, they would suffer labour pains that women suffer for 5 days, and they would then therefore know the struggle and how women would feel in that situation, and that would be lasting for 9 generations. That's like just one of her many stories.
Yeah,
she is so badass. I love her so much. So we'll do one of her stories.
Okay,
so
lovely.
Anyway, this Emain Macha is a real place, still there. You can go visit it. But these birds have come and they've gorged themselves on every fruit tree and everything in sight.
Yeah,
that's where we're at. Greatly disturbed by the greed and destruction he witnessed, the king immediately gathered together a party of his hunters, and they set off in pursuit of the birds, armed with powerful slings and the sharpest of arrows. I would imagine you have to be quite skillful to use a sling as well.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because it wasn't like elastic, so it would be like a leather whippy kind of device.
I mean, I don't know if I'd be good at that. I'm quite good at axe throwing. I don't know if I've mentioned that before.
You said that so nonchalantly, like, I'm quite good at axe throwing. I don't know if I've mentioned that before. I don't know if you all know.
Because basically, as soon as you mentioned any sort of weapon, my mind went, you're really good at axe throwing, mentioned that. Like,
have you been, one of them ones where it's like the beer places?
Yeah.
I've been to them. I love them.
Yeah. Do you want to go? Because, because I went in a group and
now they've all died.
And I went on a date.
Classic.
And I won out of all, like, I think there was like 10 people. I won. And everyone was like, how's she doing it? I was like, I don't know.
I went on a walk to get here and I got a lot of rage. Fergus McRoy, Concobar's chief huntsman and guide, was among the group, as were his trusted warriors, including Bricrew. As the day wore on, they found themselves being lured a great distance southward by the birds, towards the plain of Gosa, and with every step taken they grew more angry and frustrated that not one arrow had yet managed to ruffle a single feather. So they're having an absolute expedition. They're desperately, these are his greatest warriors, and none of them can hit any of these birds.
Have they mentioned how many birds there are?
No. Why?
I feel like the birds are the women, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I feel like the women have turned into birds, and now I feel like they're the 50 maidens. They're leading them to his sister.
How interesting.
But I'm not one for spoilers, so please do continue.
Thank you so much. Nightfall had overtaken them before they had even noticed the light begin to fade, and the king, realising that they would never make it safely back to the palace, gave the order for Fergus and some of the others to go out in search of a place of lodging for the party. Before long, Fergus came upon a small hut whose firelight was extremely inviting, and he approached and knocked politely on the door. He received a warm and hearty welcome from the old married couple within, and they at once offered him food and a comfortable bed for the evening.
I feel like they've got her in the basement.
With a pickaxe?
Yeah, I feel like they've got her.
But Fergus would not accept their kind hospitality. Knowing that his companions were still abroad without shelter, I think Fergus has been more clever than that. I'm thinking...
I would have taken the bed.
You would have gone in?
Oh, yeah.
You, for fuck's sake, you've just sat there going, I think they've got them locked up in a basement. And now you're going, oh, I'd go in. There was food. I'd go in.
That is how my life works. Oh, that's it. Ah, well.
Oh, never mind.
We'll risk it.
We're all going to die sometime.
There's cookies in there. Risk it.
Oh, forget that. You'd be the one who get led into a gingerbread house.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't like gingerbread, but
You like gingerbread?
No, I don't like gingerbread men. Or just gingerbread.
The women, fine.
Any gingerbread. Anything made of gingerbread. Not
Is it the gingerness?
Yeah, I don't like ginger. That's
Fair enough.
I like bread.
Big bread fan.
Bread good. Ginger bad.
But he's done a really polite thing that I would have done, which is, oh, no, thank you. I couldn't possibly. My friends are waiting to get out of it, I reckon.
Okay.
So I won't be going into that, tell you that now.
Why would you not go in?
What, these old people who I've never met going, oh, hello, it just so happens we've got a fire, food and a place for you to rest your head, which isn't creepy, and we're not going to poison you in the middle of the night at all.
Okay.
You're looking at me like I'm mental. Like, what?
But they're
what's wrong with you?
They're elderly.
But this is fairy tale and mythland. They might turn into a dragon at any moment.
Okay. Right. Well, that would be a curveball.
You're looking at me like I'm saying the most batshit stuff. We're doing stories about all of this shit, and you're like, God, Louise is fucking mental. Like, yeah.
Dragons?
Dragons? What are you trying?
Someone needs to tell her they're not real. Apart from the Komodo ones. Kimono, not Komodo.
Kimono dragons?
Hold on, is it Komodo or kimono?
Kimono's the dressing gown thing that you wear.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
Unless you're getting a flashing Komodo dragon that's like, ooh, hello. There's an old woman speaking. I'll just do a generic old woman.
Oh, no, do a good old woman.
Then they are all invited to join us, said the old woman, as she bustled about, preparing food and wine for her visitors. Fergus went off to deliver his good news to Concobar and the rest of the group. So he's got lulled in now.
Yeah, he's not like you. He's like me.
Bricrew had also set off in search of accommodation, and as he had walked to the opposite side of the woodlands, he was certain that he had heard the gentle sound of harp music. Instinctively drawn towards the sweet melody, he followed the winding path through the trees until he came upon a regal mansion standing proudly on the banks of the River Boyne.
Okay, where are these birds?
Missing at the minute. We're just trying to find accommodation for the night right now.
I just wondered if they'd led them to the mansion, but they've buggered off, have they? And they've discovered a little hut with old ladies in it, old couples in it.
Well, Sir Fergus had. We don't know who's in the big mansion yet that Bricrew's found. He timidly approached the noble structure, but there was no need for him to knock, since the door was already ajar, and a young maiden, dressed in a flowing gown of shimmering gold, stood in the entrance hall ready to greet him. So, this isn't the old this is a really big house with a tarted up woman.
Yeah, he's done better than old Fergie, isn't he?
She was accompanied by a young man of great stature and splendid appearance who smiled warmly at Bricrew and extended his hand in friendship.
No.
No, you're looking suspicious.
Well, I'm more wary of them.
Some dialogue now. I'm going to attempt a Northern Irish accent.
Oh my God.
I'm going to explain right now. It's going to be mostly Derry, because I've rewatched Derry Girls recently.
Love it, yeah.
Like, they've been on a trip to Belfast and they've had Yorkshire parents. That's the accent we're going to be getting.
Okay, there's a lot of caveats to that accent,
all,
isn't there?
Let's just embrace it for what it is. I'm giving it a go. Okay? This guy smiled warmly at Bricrew and extended his hand of friendship. You are indeed welcome, said the handsome warrior. We have been waiting patiently for your visit to our home this day.
Honestly, will you teach me how to do accents one day?
No, because I'm actually not that good at them.
You are.
I imagine.
You are most welcome. Get in my house.
When I was looking at this, I was thinking of, do you remember Nadine Coyle when she famously was on that programme and she was talking about flour, which I just think is one of the best things a Northern Irish person can say. It's like when you get a whole person to say anything with an in it, that's the one where you get us to do. You're like Kirk or no, or pass me the fern. Like, we get that a lot. Come inside, Bricrew, said the beautiful maiden. Why is it that you linger out of doors? Can it be that you do not recognise the woman who appears before you? Asked the warrior.
It's your sister.
Her great beauty stirs a memory from the past, replied Bricrew, but I cannot recall anything more at present. You see before you Dectur, sister of Concobar MacNasa, said the warrior, and the 50 maidens you have been seeking these 3 years are also in this house. They have today visited Emain Macha in the form of birds in order to lure you here.
Fuck me.
You nailed it.
I am. Was that obvious though? Because sometimes I always sound a bit stupid, but actually I think I'm quite clever. I know I've got emotional intelligence.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I can tell when people are getting angry.
When they're punching me in the face?
Yeah.
I think it's quite clear.
When someone headbutts me, I'm like, they're not happy with me.
You seem annoyed.
But I think I am all right at like figuring stuff out.
Figuring stuff.
Did you get that? Did you know that?
I mean, I'd read the story.
But would you have known it? Did you know it?
I did have a suspect. But the thing is I also read 3 other versions of this story.
And they're not always the birds.
The birds are always there, and there's always seems to be 50 of them. But I'll tell you, we'll mention it at the end.
Okay.
But it's real interesting how it's different. Then I must go at once to the king and inform him of what I have discovered, answered Bricrew, for he will be overjoyed to know that Dictern has been found, and I will be eager for her to accompany him back to the palace where there will be great feasting and celebration. So he's like, I need to go tell King What's His Chops, I found his sister, he's going to love this.
She's going to say she's not going.
Really, that's what you think?
That's what I think.
You've gone like real, like, I've absolutely smashed this story.
I feel really sassy.
He hurried back through the woods to rejoin the king and his companions, and when Concobar heard the news of Bricrew's discovery, he could scarcely contain his delight and was immediately anxious to be reunited with his sister. So he's really chuffed about this. A messenger was sent forth to invite Dictyn to the warrior to share the evening meal, and a place was hurriedly prepared for the couple at the table inside the welcoming little hut.
Oh, they're all in the hut and they're bringing the sister there.
Yeah, but Dictyn was already suffering the first pangs of childbirth by the time Concobar's message arrived with his invitation. She excused herself by saying that she was tired and agreed instead to meet up with her brother at dawn on the following morning. Now,
so so he spent years looking for her. He's found her right on the day when she's popping out a baby.
I've got a lot of issues with this bit, right? Because Bricrew has gone back and said, I found your sister. At no point
mentioned she's preggers,
which I'm going to imagine is showing if she's giving birth now.
Yeah.
So he hadn't mentioned that. Or the other option is it took so long for Concobar's message to get to her that she's had a baby.
Yeah.
But also, the state of this, where she went, I'm in the middle of childbirth. She excused herself by saying she was tired.
Oh,
if
yeah.
I was in the middle of childbirth, I wouldn't be saying, I'm terribly sorry, I just needed to do 50 wigs. I'd be like, get me something useful immediately. Where do you think you're going? Stay here.
Yeah, you'd get him to stay for a bit of help, no?
Well, it depends how useless they are, because to be honest, when you're in that state, if somebody's being useless, I'm like, just get out of my proximity immediately. Yeah. But I wouldn't be politely telling people, I'm just going to go for a little lie down. I'm not doing any of that shit. And also, it says, she said, let him know I'll meet up with her at dawn.
In the morning.
Get him to come to me.
Oh, right, you'd still be up for visitors, though, that early.
I'll be in such a state. Have you ever been to one of your friends who's just had a kid? They don't care.
Yeah, but then they have gas and air. I don't think they had that in Fairy Tale Land.
But just after the birth, you go in, they're split in half, there's a tit hanging out.
Oh
they don't care that anybody's there. So I'm like, if you want to come see me, fine, but I ain't getting up for shit, lad.
Yeah.
You're going to come this way.
Okay.
Right? When the first rays of sunshine had brightened the heavens, Concobar arose from his bed and began to prepare himself for Dictyn's arrival. He had passed a very peaceful night and went in search of Fergus and the others in the happiest of moods. Approaching the place where his men were sleeping, he became convinced that he had heard the stifled cries of an infant.
Okay.
Again, as he drew nearer, the sound was repeated. He stooped down and began to examine a small, strange bundle lying on the ground next to Bricrew. As he unwrapped it, the bundle began to wriggle in his arms, and a tiny pink hand revealed itself from beneath the cloth covering.
She's dumped the baby.
Also, I don't like the way it says tiny pink hand, because that makes it sound...
Yeah, it's weird.
Like that scene from Alien where it comes out the stomach. You're like, oh my
I didn't
God.
think that. She's dumped the baby.
Apparently.
Right. Go on. I want to know
This is the
why.
first time I've genuinely seen you being like, I'm interested.
I want to know why.
Usually by now you're like, oh, well, he's a dickhead. She's down a well. Who's got a pickaxe?
Well, I feel like I haven't learnt that much about any of the characters. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if he's that good at characters.
So, Dictyn did not appear before her brother that morning, or on any morning to follow, but she had left the king a great gift, a newborn male child, fathered by the noble warrior Lou of the Long Arm, a child destined to achieve great things for Ulster. So Lou of the Long Arm, which sounds like me being dodgy as, like, oh, you say, yeah, Lou with a long arm over there.
Yeah.
Is a Celtic god, like a god of the harvest, I think. He's quite a when I was looking him up, he's a bit contradictory because he's god of the harvest.
Yeah.
But he's also meant to be like heavily involved in justice and fairness, but at the same time, quite a big trickster.
Okay.
I'm like, how are you being just and fair but tricking everyone at the same time?
Are these all from different sources, though?
It's just reading what I could across.
So maybe just people had different opinions of him.
Maybe.
Like, I like some people, but other people don't.
He said that looking directly at me, going, just to let you know, Louise, some people can't stand you, but I think you're all right, and I'm here.
I just think it'd be weird if I said that and looked at the ceiling. So I'm looking at you.
Apparently, he was like a really incredible warrior. He had loads of weapons and spears. He had a really famous spear that could just like shoot like lightning. Which is a bit like Zeus.
Yeah, I know about Zeus.
I know about Zeus.
I know about him.
Me and my bestie Zeus.
Because I've watched Disney's Hercules.
Oh, and it's come back crashing down.
And that's how I know about all the Greek gods.
You know, some of that isn't accurate.
I hope that it is.
Okie dokies.
I get all my information from Disney films and musicals.
I can do a half decent impression of, Pain and Panic from Hercules. Really.
Is that Danny DeVito?
Danny DeVito's Phil.
Oh, okay, sorry. Right, yeah.
Pain and Panic are the little minions that Hades has. It's like Pain and Panic reporting for duty. But there's one bit where one of them is wearing like Hercules' merchandise.
Oh, yeah.
And Hades is like
the little rubber shoes.
Yeah, and Hades is like, what do you do? He's like, I don't really know. I think they're kind of dashing. And
That's really good. Can we get that voice in a story?
Yeah, at one point.
Lovely.
I did that to somebody I was dating once, and we broke up soon after.
I think they're an idiot.
Yeah, thank you. Right, so he was fathered by noble warrior Lou of the Long Arm, a child destined to achieve great things for Ulster. Concobar took the infant back to the palace with him and gave him to his sister to look after. His sister reared the child alongside her own son Connell and grew to love him.
Hold on, I'm so sorry. Should I be this confused?
I don't know.
I thought his sister had gone missing.
No, his favourite sister's gone missing. Apparently this is one of his other sisters.
Oh, right, they should clear that up. Right, so this is a different sister.
Who apparently he doesn't care that much about.
Okay.
His sister reared the child alongside her own son Connell and grew to love him as if he had been born of her own womb. He was given the name Setanta, a name he kept until the age of 6, and the druid Moran made the following prophecy over him. His praise will be sung by the most valorous knights, and he will win the love of all. His deeds will be known throughout the land, for he will answer Ulster's call. And that is the end of the story.
I don't want to offend you. This is my least favourite story.
What?
This is my least favourite character building thing. It's my least favourite story.
You were the most involved in this story.
But he's finished it before it's finished.
Yeah, but this isn't. It's one of 3 parts. This is like the Fellowship of the Lord of the Rings. We've got like the 2 towers and the other one to do yet. Like it's this is just his birth. So Setanta is Cuchulainn. He's just his birth name Setanta. He gets the name Cuchulainn.
Hold on. There's too many names wafting about. The sister.
Which one?
Devley. What was her name?
Oh,
What was her name?
Dector.
Yeah.
That one.
What is her brother's name?
Concobar. He's the king.
Oh, I've got confused with Cuchulainn.
Dector is the mother of Cuchulainn.
Right.
Cuchullainn's the infant that's been born, whose birth name is Setanta. I thought we were completely fine with all of this.
So
I thought we were doing a nice little run.
Dector is the sister of a king.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't make her a queen because you have to be a princess?
Let's say so, yeah.
Because I think a queen has to be married to the king, right? A princess is... I don't know.
Sure.
Right. Is there a moral to this one?
What there was, like I said, there were so many different versions of this. So there was actually a version where it talked about how she got pregnant.
I think that would have been useful.
Which is, I don't think it would have been, because Stravin, there's loads of ways she got pregnant. There's different ones. There's one she got pregnant in a dream. There's one where she had the kid died, but then she was immediately pregnant again and gave birth like the next day to the same child, but this time it lived. But then the main one that seemed to be consistent is Lou of the Long Arm turned himself into a mayfly and landed on her glass of wine, which she drank. And then he came to her and went, oh, absolute lols. I turned myself into a fly and put myself on your glass, and now you're pregnant with my child.
Or like laid an egg in her.
Well, to be fair, what I know about biology, she would have had the egg.
No, but you know, like flies lay eggs. Like, what is he doing in the wine?
Well, he was being a god and impregnating her. The science of it, I'm not going to lie, I don't really know. What with it being a made-up fucking story. So how it worked exactly, him turning himself into a fly and going into her gullet and into her womb, I don't really know.
Well, if 3 other story writers, journalists, novelists, whatever they're called,
Yeah.
have decided to put that in, it does feel like it's important, and he's just wafted over it. He's just not
Yeah, in this one, it isn't in there.
at
And
all.
then there's some where the birds are talked about a lot more. It's suggested that they might be swans.
Well, swans are like a royal bird, aren't they?
Royal bird, but like also they would guzzle food like that. And also they would like migrate. So them disappearing for a length of time, like these ones did, would perhaps fit in with that story as well.
I think there's pages. Is this from a charity shop, this book?
No, it is not.
Like, there's pages missing in the book.
The next story is called How Santa Won the Name of Cú Chulainn.
Okay.
Like the birth one, I grant you, isn't the best
I
one.
just feel like I had high expectations.
But he has so many banging stories. Like how he got his name involves a big, massive dog and him using a hurling stick. That's a big one. He goes on a trip to Scotland where he like gets some girl pregnant and goes, "Not me," and then runs back to Ireland.
Okay, yeah.
The stories of him like in battle growing to 9 feet tall. Also, the story of how he dies is quite interesting.
But really, the birth does need to start it off,
Yeah,
doesn't
but
it?
I did need to mention how he was born.
Yeah.
And introduce us to Celtic fairy tale. I didn't understand this. The Celtic is not like a people, it's a culture. And that's why it's been so difficult in uniting them, because there's so many different ones. So even in Britain,
Yeah.
there's like the Gaelic Celts, which is like Ireland and Scotland. But then there's like Brittonian Celts, which is like Wales and, no, not Wales, Cornwall and Isle of Wight and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know that. I just knew about the Scottish and the Irish ones.
Yeah, so there's all of these different ones. And what's interesting is when the Romans invaded us, they came into England. And we don't actually know if it was Celts in England, but the Roman emperor who came across was just like, they look Celtic, so we'll just call them Celts. Like, he didn't even bother to figure out if we were or not. He went, they all look the same. That's fine. We'll just go. So we got branded it as well.
Oh, right.
We might have been something completely different, like native Britons is usually a term that's used towards us. But apparently Celtic started in like the Alps and just spread across Europe.
Okay.
The history bit of this I've nailed.
Yeah, and I love history.
And Cú Chulainn, I'm going to promise you, banging stories. It's just we had to do the birth bit.
Okay, yeah, fine.
Okay.
Yeah, welcome to the world, Cú Chulainn.
Please like and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or wherever it is that you get your podcasts. And follow us on TikTok and Instagram at BeFairyAfraidPod. Thanks for listening.